What if I told you that there is a waterway only 34 kilometers wide, through which passes nearly one-fifth of global oil consumption? A gateway that, if closed tomorrow, your car would stop and your electricity bill would soar. And the price of everything you touch in your life would change. This place exists, and perhaps you haven't heard enough about it. The Strait of Hormuz between Iran to the north and Oman to the south. The actual safe shipping lane does not exceed 3 kilometers inbound and 3 outbound. Imagine a tanker as long as 3 football fields, forcing its way through this passage. Then imagine dozens like it every day. Oil, gas, and commodities equivalent to 21 million barrels a day. One-fifth of the entire planet's oil consumption passes right through here. This is precisely what makes it the global chokepoint. The name Hormuz traces back to an ancient kingdom that flourished on this coast centuries ago. Back then, merchants paid extortionate taxes just to pass through. The exact same concept remains alive today, a gateway that controls global trade. And alongside oil, a massive portion of Qatari liquefied natural gas passes through Hormuz, heading towards Europe and Asia. This small strait keeps European homes warm during the winter. A thought-provoking moment, isn't it? And now, the example that will shock you. In 2008, oil prices spiked to record levels. Fuel costs double. Commercial airlines, which rely heavily on kerosene, some went bankrupt. Factories relying on energy, some shut down operations. And food prices soared in more than 30 countries because cargo ships were consuming double what they used to pay. Now imagine if Hormuz were actually closed, not a price hike, but a total halt in supply. Estimates for the IMF and the World Bank indicate that a shutdown of just 2 weeks is enough to plunge the global economy into a deep recession. 2 weeks from a passage only 3 kilometers wide. Aware of this fragility, Gulf countries built alternative pipelines to break free from this dependency. Most notably, the Saudi petrol line, which reaches the port of Yanbu bypassing Hormuz, but its capacity is only 5 million barrels compared to the 21 millions that pass through the strait. The gap says it all. Now, imagine yourself in a supermarket holding a bottle of oil, a piece of clothing, or a brand new phone. Every single one of these items has traveled a long journey, and a portion of its coast passed right through that narrow strait. The nations of Asia that manufacture everything you buy rely on oil that follows through Hormuz. A spike in energy there means a price hike for everything you touch. And even without an actual crisis, mere anxiety is enough to drive up shipping costs. And its impact hits you right on the shelf directly. The world is striving to break free from this dependency. Renewable energy, electric vehicles, alternative pipelines. But reality says Hormuz is expected to remain one of the most critical energy arteries until at least 2040. Renewable energy is growing, but it hasn't yet reached the scale that lets the world breathe a sigh of relief. Far away from this narrow strait, every single time you fill up your car's tank, or pay your electricity bill, or unlock your brand new phone, a piece of this story passes right through without you ever noticing. Geography is not merely maps in textbooks. Geography is power. And those who understand geography understand why everything happens the way it does in the world. Hormuz is just one strait, and this is only the beginning.